In this video, we are going to do some problem solvings. We're gonna take what we learned about equations and we're gonna apply it to some problems that involve a little bit more thinking. The equation isn't already written for us. So my best advice as you go through these problems would be to pause the video, try to see if you could set it up, and then listen to the video explanation if you are stuck. So first thing, we have a chart here of common words that mean addition, subtraction, multiplication, and division. So go ahead and take a look, scan through them, make sure you're familiar with those words. Also, the word is in a mathematical statement means equal. Just like if I had this, I could read this as x equals 5 as well as x is the same thing as 5. Okay, so let's take a look at the first example here. So I'm going to go ahead and circle each word that appears up here in the box as I read it. So I have 3 times a number minus 6 is the same as 2 times a number plus 3. Find the number. So since we're asked to find the unknown number, we don't know what it is, so that's when a variable comes into play. So I'm going to go ahead and let x represent the number that we're looking for. So now I'm going to read back the problem, and I have 3 times a number. We don't know what it is, so we're going to use our x here. And now in an equation, instead of using the dot, we write multiply as 3x. And then we have minus 6. And then is means equal, the same as 2 times a number, so 2 times a number, plus 3. And then it says find the number, so we're going to go ahead and solve this equation. We cannot simplify this equation. The left or the right is already as simplified as possible. So now we're going to take out one of the x's, so I'm going to go ahead and subtract 2x. And remember, you could subtract 3x if you wanted. And 3x minus 2x would get us x. And then we're going to get rid of the number next to the variable here. So we're going to add 6. And then we get x equals 9. So it said find the number. And we would say the number is 9. And then remember when you get your answer that it's always a good idea to check. So if I take out the x's and put the answer we got, which was 9, back in, and now evaluate each side, we get 27 minus 6 here, which is 21, and over here we get 18 plus 3, which is also 21. So we correctly identified the number that it wanted. So let's go ahead and try another one here. So example 2 says twice the number. So twice, when you twice something, like if you had 4, twice, if you twice that, it's like doubling it. So it becomes 8. So when we twice something, we are essentially multiplying it by 2. So we know that twice means multiply by 2. So we're going to multiply by 2. The sum of, so sum, the sum of a number and 4 is the same as 4 times the number decreased by 12. So find the number. Okay, so we're going to double, we're going to multiply by 2, and it says not twice the number. It says that we're going to double the sum. So we're going to take something and we're going to add it. It says the sum. We're going to sum something. We're going to add something. And whatever we're adding, we are going to twice it. We're going to double it. So it says twice the sum of a number, which we don't know what it is. So I'm going to let x represent what we don't know. So the sum of a number and 4 is the same. So is means equal. The same as 4 times the number. So we don't know what the number is. So I'm going to put an X here. Decreased by, so decreased is subtraction, by 12. So now we're going to go ahead and solve this equation. The first thing we're going to do is simplify here. So 2 times x is 2x, and 2 times 4 is 8. And then we're going to get rid of one of the variables. I'm going to go ahead and subtract the 2x away. 4x minus 2x is 2x. And then we're going to go ahead and add 12 here. And then lastly, we know the last step is to divide. So we would get that x is 10. So the unknown number is 10. All right, let's take a look at example 3. So for example 3, go ahead and read through it, think about it, and then continue the video. Okay, so in this video, in this problem, it's talking about that we have a 46-foot piece of rope. So this whole rope here is 46 feet. And it tells us that it's cut into 3 pieces. So I'm going to go ahead and cut it into 3 pieces. And it says that we're going to cut it into 3 pieces such that the second piece, so the second piece right here, is 3 times as long as the first one. So that means that if, let's just make this up, let's say this was 3 feet, it's saying that the second piece is 3 times that. So it's the 3 feet times 3. So this would be 9. So if we take whatever this is, which we don't know, they didn't tell us, and multiply it by 3, then it would tell us how long this piece of rope is here. And then it says that the third piece is 2 feet more than 2 times the length of the first piece. So we have a problem here. We don't know how long the first piece is. So I'm going to go ahead and let x represent the length of the first piece. Okay, so since this is going to represent x, now let's go back and read through the problem. So we have a 46-foot, right here, piece of rope. It's cut into 3 pieces such that the second piece, so this piece right here, is 3 times the first piece, which we don't know what it is, so 3x. And then it says the third piece, so this piece right here of rope, is 2 feet more than, so more than, like if I had 5 and then I had 2 more than 5, it would be 7, right? So that means addition. So we have 2 more than 7 times, so times means multiply, the length of the first piece. Well, we don't know what the first piece is, so we put an x here. So we'd put 7x. So you could write that as 7x plus 2 or 2 plus 7x. Okay, so now we have to find the length of the pieces. So we know that the whole length altogether from one end of the rope to the other, that is 46. So if we take x plus 3x plus 2 plus 7x, if we take all of that and we add it, we know that the length all the way across, they said, is 46 feet. So we're going to set it equal to 46 since all of them together should equal the 46 feet. So we have an equation now right here that we're going to go ahead and solve. Okay, so to solve this equation, we're adding again all the lengths, the length of the first piece, second piece, and third piece. We're going to add that all together and it should equal 46. So when we go through our steps for solving an equation, we know the first step is to simplify. So we're going to go ahead and combine our like terms. So we have an x here, we have an x here, we have a positive 3x there, and then we have a positive 7x. So altogether, 1x plus 3 is 4, plus 7 is 11x. So all the x's simplify to 11x. And then we have this 2 here. Then we're going to go ahead and isolate the 11x, so we're going to take away 2. And then the very last step, we know that when this variable term is isolated, that we're going to go ahead and divide by 11. So we would get x equals 4. Now let's go ahead and remind ourselves what x represented. What did x represent? So let's go back to the beginning. So I let x represent the length of the first piece right here. So since we just solved and got that x was 4, the 4 represents the length of the first piece right here. So one length is 4 feet. And then to get our second length here, we need to go ahead and take that 4 and we need to plug it in here. So if we plug in 4 here, 3 times 4 is 12. So the length of this piece is 12 feet. And now if we read the question, it does say find the lengths of the pieces. It doesn't say just the first piece. We have to find all 3. So we found one. We found the second one. Now we're going to go ahead and plug in the 4 here. So we're going to take out the x and put in the 4. So 7 times 4 is 28. Plus 2 is 30. So this length right here is 30 feet. So now we know what all 3 lengths are. And if you check it, again, it should add up to 46. So if you add the 3 answers we just got, it should add up to sum to 46. Okay, so let's take a look at example 4. Again, read it, think about it, and then push play. Okay, so in this problem we have a book, and it says that the left and right page numbers of an open book are 2 consecutive integers. So what that means, 2 consecutive integers, would be like 1 and 2. They come after each other. That's what consecutive integers mean. Or like 2 and 3, or 7 and 8. The pages are right next to each other, consecutive. And it says they're integers, so we know it's not a decimal, it's not a fraction. And it says that their sum, so when you add them together, is 469. So when you add this page number to this page number, it says it should be 469. So we're asked to find the page numbers. So we don't know what the first page number is, so I'm going to have that be x. So this is going to represent x. Now, since they're consecutive, we know that if this is x here, that the second number, to get from this page number to this page number, we just need to add 1. So we need to take this page number right here, which we don't know what it is, and add 1 to it. So, for example, if x was, let's say, equal to 4. So if this was 4 and I plug in a 4 here, then I would get page 5 there. So our expressions here are x and x plus 1. And it says that together, when you add this page and this page together, so when you add the first page plus the second page together, it said it should equal 469 altogether. So now we have set up an equation that we can solve to find out what x needs to be. So when we solve an equation, we're going to combine like terms. So we're going to add x plus x, which that makes 2x. And then we're going to go ahead and isolate our variable term by subtracting 1. And then lastly, we know to get that variable by itself, we're going to go ahead and divide by 2. So we would get that x equals 234. So let's go back and see, what did I let x represent? X represents the first page number. So if I go back and I think about my book, so if this book page number was 234, so I had a book and it was page 234, then I know that this page number here is one more than that. It's 234 plus one more, so it's page 235 in the book. And then just do a quick check, make sure that this plus this should give you 469 pages, or 469 altogether, which it does. So stating our answer is a complete sentence, the page numbers are 234 and 235. Okay, let's try one that's pretty similar to that. So again, I would advise pause the video and then think about it and then play the video. So in this problem, it says that there are 4 consecutive integers. So what that means, 4 consecutive integers, that means like 2, 3, 4, 5. It just means 4 numbers that are right next to each other. They follow each other in order. And then we're told that their sum, the sum of the first and the fourth of these consecutive integers is 125. It says find the 4 consecutive integers. So we need to know, again, I made this example up here, but we don't know what the 4 integers are. So I'm going to need a variable, and I'm going to have the variable represent the first number. So since we don't know what the first number is, I'm going to have that be x. Well, I know that the second number is just 1 more than that. And I know that the third number is 1 more than that. So in other words, it's 2. To get from here to here, I have to add 2 to it. So it's this number here plus 2. And then the fourth number is this number here. And to get from 2 to 5, I'd have to add 3. So that's x plus 3. So let's make sure, just real clear here, that that makes sense. So let's just pretend. Let's just say that we had x equal, let's say 20. So if x was 20, and I plug in a 20 there, the first number would be 20. The next one would be 20 plus 1, which is 21. So here's our numbers. And then if I plug in 20 here, 20 plus 2 is 22. And then 20 plus 3 is 23. So we get 4 numbers that are right in a row. So this works here. Okay, so let's go back to the problem here. It says the sum, so sum means add. It says the sum of the first, so if we take the first number and sum, so add it to the fourth number, it says that those 2 numbers, the first and the fourth one, equal 125. So let's go ahead and plug that in. So the first number, we don't know what it is, it's x. And then the fourth number, so this is 1, 2, 3, 4. The fourth number represents x plus 3. So x plus 3 and the first number, the fourth and the first number together is 125. So now we have an equation here, we need to solve it. So we're going to go ahead and combine like terms. So x plus x, 1x plus 1x is 2x. And then we're going to go ahead and isolate that variable term by subtracting 3. And then we have 2x equals 122. And then lastly, we're going to get rid of this 2 here, we're going to divide by 2. And we get that x equals 61. So X represented the first number, and it asked what are all four of the numbers. So if we go back and think about it, so if I go ahead and think about here that this was 61, so if the first number was 61, then if we plug a 61 in here, 61 plus 1, the second number is 62, and then 61 plus 2 is 63, and then we plug in a 61 here, 61 plus 3 is 64, and we get four numbers that are asked for four consecutive integers, which these are four numbers that are right in a row, and it says that if you take the first number, which is 61, and add it with the fourth number together, it should be 125. So it works.